soil, first thing. It's always the first thing. Of course, it has to be the upside down one, right? It's called Promix Organic, and it has mycorrhiza in it. And that's a fungus that helps the plants absorb the nutrient. 1 full ice cream bucket, which is 11 liters. These are worm castings, the green worm castings. So I use 2 worm castings, which are 1 liter, and then I put it in here and mix it all up, and I add about a watering can full of water. The way it works is the soil has to make a clump, but the water doesn't squeeze out, and that's the perfect wetness to sow seeds, okay? And that's the regular testing, and see it stays shaped. And that's the indication that there is enough moisture. If you put too much water, the seeds will rot. I got my soil all mixed. These are 74 plug trays. The finer seeds I do in a 20 row flat, especially the more expensive seed. But for example, my lettuce, my Asian vegetables, my herbs, and flowers I do directly in here. So see, I have my fish tubs, and I stack it to the side, put my tray directly in there, go like this, level it off, then I can just put the excess to the side, and that's it. I spend on average 3 seconds per tray.
Oh my goodness.
And usually a bin like this does about 10 trays. So I mix my soil ahead of time, and then I just fill. This is what you call a 20 row flat. You see how there are 20 little rows? Same thing, level off. And then I take a pencil and make a little indent like that. And I go the whole row. And these ones, I always put them on heat to germinate because they're the more expensive seeds. So I do my 20 row flat like this. And then what I do is I put my label at the front. For example, there are certain flowers I only grow a little bit. So then I just put 1 row, or I put 2 rows, or 1 row. And then it says flowers on top. So when I put my label here, I'll put 20 flowers, so I know which row is which. You always have to keep a record of where you put what. Instead of trying to put a little tag here, which is going to be lost, I put my tag, and I use the infamous tape, and I use a China marker. If I would put a little tag there for every row, guess what? The doggos are going to jump on it, or the cat's going to jump on it, or if I, push the tray or whatever, and then the tag flicks out, and then you don't know where it is. These are old tags from many years ago, so the first thing you got to do is take all the old tags out. And then I have this sexy dibbler that my son made that makes 72 holes at once. Ones that I'm going to need. And see, it takes about 2 seconds. Every job. So you always make yourself a stack and then do your work, because then you can concentrate on each task. The hole is about a pencil size.
And how deep?
It's about half an inch.
Half inch.
I'm going to do lettuce that I do individual seeds. Lettuce, cucumbers, the bigger seeds, and the lettuce seed I get pelletized. It's the lettuce seed is encased in clay. Okay, and this is acceptable in organic standards. I write the number, the lettuce, the variety, and how many plug trays I put in with that variety. with lettuce, I put 1 seed per. So then I just take a little bit of lettuce seeds right in my hand and I go. I don't push it in. I try to stick it in the hole as much as I can. And as you move the trays around, the seed will jiggle and the dirt will fall right on top. So it's a quick and simple. Most commercial growers use a vacuum seeder. I don't, because I feel I can go as quick as a vacuum seeder. I plant and grow a lot of different varieties, and vacuum seeding works well if you're just doing one variety. Always put a tag on both sides. I don't write the variety name. I just put LET for lettuce, the number, which gets me to my book, and then the initials of the variety.
So you have the coding system.
Yeah, I have a coding system. I put the 1 tag on each, and then this is ready to put in the greenhouse, and then I water it in. Cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, the frost-sensitive stuff, unless you have a greenhouse or you want to start them in your home, you shouldn't start them now. And I will be doing some zesty greens. What I do is I go with scissors to harvest them, and I want bunches. And I do this with culinary herbs too. And see how the seeds are very small?
Right.
Okay, so what I try to do is I try to put 4 or 5 seeds in each. And I just rub them on my fingers. And then I never separate them. I plant clumps, and I do this with basil, dill, cilantro, because you cut, right? These are a little slower to seed, but what I want to do is these zesty greens, I'm going to start them in the greenhouse, and then I will plant them outside extra early, and then hopefully I'll have some extra greens. So then I put zesty greens, put the labels on, and then they're all ready to bring. So I don't worry about covering, and the moving around the seeds have it so it sinks in, because I don't pack the soil in my plug trays. When I water it, naturally sinks in. The challenge is you have to make sure you're putting the right label on the right seeds. And this year we are going to use tape and more places and try to get away from the plastic tags, because as you can see on the ground, the plastic tags kind of wander and you have to pick them up.
Okay.
So we're going to try to use as the tape, because it sticks. If you are going to use tags in a cell pack, never put them there. Put them always on the inside. The name is always facing the same way. This year we're going to need approximately 60,000 transplants. We calculated last Friday that we have grown 22,000 transplants so far. When they're growing in this, they're not quite big enough to put in the field. So we will take them and transplant them into this size. We take them from that size to this size. This is okay? I keep the lettuces till they have about 4 leaves on them, and then I transfer them to a plug tray, and then the leaves get a little bit bigger.
In your cell back.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I go from the
I understood what you said.
I'm tired today.
I know.
We did too much stuff. That's always the story of my life. But usually seeding, I can do about 30 flats in the morning, 40 flats in the morning, no problem. I need to plant all these seeds this week. Okay, so I have lettuce, flowers. You know this bee garden we're doing? We got to plant flowers.
Right.
So it's going to be lettuce, flowers, and herbs this week. Cabbage, cucumbers, marigolds, And I am doing extra flowers because we feel the bees need extra help this year. We got broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes, basil, dill, cilantro, summer savory, peppers, tomatillos. I am going to try artichoke. I have celery and then a few, Florence fennel. And the rest, I am going to grow a few different varieties of flowers for my bee gardens. To attract beneficial insects, I have go to phacelia, cosmos, calendula, marigolds, candytuft, some culinary herbs. I said cilantro, dill, and basil. And we have this little problem with this ball wandering through the potting shed. Right, Rosie? It's not time to play ball yet.
Dun dun.
Rosie's bored
She
because
is
Murphy doesn't want to play
waiting.
anymore. So Rosie's having a hard time this spring, but that's okay. She has a friend visiting this week, so she should be good.